Do you think that Ron would have ever wanted you to do anything illegal? Thinking about it now?
Yeah. It's not illegal. It's the greatest good for the greatest number of dynamics. It's not illegal. Ron wanted me to go up the bridge.
No, that wasn't what I was asking about. What I was asking about, let me put it differently. Do you think Ron would want you to do an EOC? Do you think he was the kind of person who would want you to do an EOC when there was another way to do it?
No. I think that Ron really wants me to do this. Okay. Because I've spoken to Ron.
Okay. You've spoken to Ron?
I've spoken to Ron.
When?
When?
While I'm asleep, in the dream state. I've exteriorized and I've spoken to Ron. Ron is on New Arcturus, a place where we're going to have to go unless this world is prevented, unless nuclear war is prevented. And Ron told me, just as close as you are to me now, he said to me, wear your hat as a Thetan. I said, well, what am I supposed to do? He said, just wear your hat as a Thetan.
Did it ever occur to you that perhaps the orders that you were getting from up lines, possibly for a long time, could have not been real policy? That maybe Ron didn't know about those things, and maybe the order to have you do an EOC...
You mean prior to his dropping his body, you mean?
Possibly. It's a big organization.
Well, he gave the org, he gave Scientology, he said, if you're going to screw up, basically, it's your org to screw it up. But he entrusted some key people, some of whom I've met personally, with the job of running the org. I can't see how you could say that.
So you don't think there's any possibility that maybe there could have been something going on in the...
Well, I think right now, when whoever put down the directive for me to do an EOC, whether it was the ED int or even higher, you know, or it could have been someone in CSI, you know, in the church itself. Whoever did that didn't really have all the data. I'm convinced, from the conversation I had with Ron, that they didn't have all the data on me. They didn't really know what the greatest good for the greatest number of dynamics was, because they didn't realize how important this data in the book is, and that's far more important than any negative PR that could have come from this minor flap that's occurring now with this criminal case. Because this criminal case only has to do with money. And what's money? Money is a consideration.
Let me go back to something. We were at the point where I asked you about other contacts recommending that you or instructing you to drop your body. Recently, have you received any of those recommendations or directives?
Well, through different ways. The induced reverie,
right,
to have me run in front of a car, or to go to Sistrunk Boulevard and 15th Avenue, and start hollering the word nigger, you know, at night.
Who made these calls to you?
Well, Linda Miller, Leona Grimm. She used to be Leona Lidler. She got married a few years back. I got a call from Mark Witt. And there were calls there was a call from Kathy Edrich at Flag, and from Sandra Woodard at AOLA.
What was the most recent call?
The last call was the call from Charlie Fox, where he said, I'm fed up with you about the package, this package.
All right, let's talk about the packages for a moment. In the last what, about a month?
Not even that long.
You've received how many packages?
3, including this one.
Right, the one we have here today. You referring to this that was brought up here, was left at your desk? Downstairs, left at the front desk?
This one.
Now, yesterday we spoke to the FBI about these packages, you remember?
Right, to William Kemp.
Okay. The first of the packages, do you remember how that got to you? Did you get a call in advance?
Yes.
What happened?
They said they were sending me the medicine.
Who said that?
Leona. See, Leona is the FBO Miami. It's her hat to handle any financial planning flubs. In other words, anything that went wrong in the area of financial planning has to be handled by, it's her hat to do that. And this whole thing with the money that was seized is really under her responsibility locally.
Money seized by whom?
The money, the church's money that was seized by the government.
The church viewed that as their money?
Well, of course it's their money. I was allowed to use the interest, but I mean, as far as the money is concerned,
the money was in your accounts, though, right?
that was why I got punished for taking the money out for the car, which is my fault.
Did they have any kind of legal control over that money?
Sure.
How?
They had the power of attorney. That Bev Flahan, who used to be the DSA. See, before Humberto Fontana was the DSA, Beverly Flahan was the DSA. And I signed a power of attorney indicating that if I was to be arrested or institutionalized, I forget the wording, then all of my funds would be, they would be able to have access to the funds.